As a possible candidate for president, would you comment on the possible candidacy of Margaret Chase Smith and specifically what effect that would have on the New Hampshire primary?
I would think, if I were a Republican candidate, I would not look forward to campaigning against Margaret Chase Smith in New Hampshire. Or as a possible candidate for president, I think she's very formidable, if that's the appropriate word to use about a very fine lady. She's a very formidable political figure.
President. I think a few minutes ago you said it'd be unfortunate if the tax bill and the civil rights bill don't get through. You just said also it's the worst attack on the foreign aid bill since its inception. Several appropriations bills are still hung up in Congress, the first time in history this late. What's happened on Capitol?
Well, they're all interrelated. I think that there's some delay because of civil rights. That's had an effect upon the passage of appropriation bills. There isn't any question. On the other hand, of course, what we're talking about in both the civil rights bill and the tax bill are very complicated and important pieces of legislation. In fact, more significant in their own way than legislation which has been sent up there for a decade. My judgment is that by the time this Congress goes home, in the sense of next summer, that in the fields of education, mental health, taxes, civil rights, this is going to be a record that's going to be, however dark looks now, I think that westward look the land is bright, and I think by next summer it may be. Yes. Mr. Van Okel, we don't hear very much.
President,
yes.
In view of what you just said, sir, you listed certain items. You didn't mention medical care for the aged.
Yes.
Now, even though Chairman Mills has promised to hold hearings this month, there doesn't seem to be any immediate prospect of clearing it. Since he was so helpful on the tax bill, are you prepared to ask him to cast his vote to get that out of committee so the House can vote on it?
I think that we're going to get that bill out of committee, not this year, but next year, and I think we'll have a vote on it, and I think it will pass. But I don't think it will pass this year. I think it will next year. I think that's one of the, I didn't mean to make an exclusive list. I'm looking forward to the record of this Congress, but it may not come till, this is going to be an 18-month delivery. Yes, excuse me, Mr.
You were quoted as saying you were very satisfied with the vote in Philadelphia. Why were you satisfied?
Because Mayor Tate was elected. As John Bailey said, the Republicans had the statistics and we the opposites, so that's why I was satisfied.
The Fred Korth and Bobby Baker cases have prompted some serious questions about the moral and ethical climate in Washington. What is your assessment of today's climate in Washington?
Well, I think it's always, first of all, I don't lump the two cases together. I think there are differences between the two cases. I want to make that. I want to make that clear. So there are differences between the cases. Now, if you're talking about, they're always bound to be in the government, newspaper business, labor, and so on, farmers. There are always going to be people who can't stand the pressure of opportunity. So that what the important point is, what action is taken against them. And I think that this administration has been very vigorous in its action, and I think that we've tried to set responsible standards. There's always going to be people that fail to meet that standard, and then we attempt to take appropriate action dealing with each case. But Mr. Baker is now being investigated, and I think we'll know a good deal more about Mr. Baker before we're through. Other people may be investigated as time goes on. We just try to do the best we can. And I think that the governmental standards, let me say, on the whole, I think compare favorably with those in Washington, with those some other parts of America. Yes.
Several months ago, you nominated David Rabinovich to be a federal judge in western Wisconsin. Since that time, the American Bar Association has opposed this nomination, and the majority of lawyers polled by the State Bar Association said that he was unqualified. Do you still support this nomination, or in view of this opposition, are you going to withdraw?
No, I'm for David Rabinowitz all the way. I know him very well. In fact, for a number of years, and the American Bar Association has been very helpful in making the judgment, but I'm sure they would agree that they are not infallible. Mr. Brandeis was very much opposed. A good many judges have been opposed, have been rather distinguished, and I'm for David Rabinowitz.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.